Another game you had on that list there was Veloren.
Oh yeah, that was another game that I had a lot of fun playing.
Mm, mm.
I had to play it a lot solo to understand how it worked and get a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to friends about like, so what is Cube World about? Like, what am I supposed to be getting out of this? Because
Yep.
if you look at screenshots of Cube World, it's remarkably similar.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the thing that was most fascinating to me about Veloren is how little information there was on it. Like, I mean, if I was a developer and I made such a crazy looking game, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you'd want to. I would at least want to be like, hi, this was my idea. This is really cool, and now the community's taking it. There's like nothing. It just like spawned out of the ground, and I mean, if you people watching, if you haven't played it, it's in FlatHub. It's probably in your repos. Just like load into it and be
Yep.
amazed at what this is like. What the open source community is capable of. Nobody got paid to do this. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who the developers are. I found an interview from like a year or two ago. I don't even know if the guy is still on the project, but and this is Rust Lang. Like,
Mm-hmm.
apparently nobody's made a game in Rust, so let's do it. And like I can hear developers say that, like, developers come up with it's crazy ideas all the time, but it's actually produced stuff like a
Mm-hmm.
playable game. Looks amazing. It runs well. Like, what is going on?
It's
It's
not
so
just
cool.
a playable game. Like, it plays well. Like it's not just
It
playable.
and
Um,
it's fun.
yeah, yeah. Veloren's really fun. Like
Hmm.
I played the game the first time like a couple of years back, and it's slowly been making progress like week on week. They
Hmm.
changed out the flying system ages back. They added in more enemy
Yep.
types, more bosses, more classes, like a currency system. The I remember playing back when they first added in merchants, and they hadn't
Okay.
worked out pricing for things yet.
Okay.
So you could pick up rocks off the ground, and they would sell for enough that you could just buy infinite potions, and then sell the
Well,
potions back, and then buy the best gear in the game.
I mean, hey, look, that sounds like an AI problem. If they didn't code the AI to be smart enough to know that that's a bad deal, then hey, get players making a killing off of these
Mm-mm.
guys, huh? The merchant system was interesting. It's like bartering or haggling. You're like, here's
Mm-mm.
these things. The thing I didn't like about it is how small the interface is, and you're
Yeah,
having to
yeah.
drag and drop all of these little tiny icons into this thing, and then it's
Yup,
like
yup.
the merchant likes this, merchant doesn't like this, but everything's so small. Like,
Oh, the
make the
bartering system.
UX.
Oh, that wasn't there when I played it.
Oh yeah, it's a novel system. It's
Mm-mm.
just like the UI is just, it needs to be revamped, but the system is cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, UI is something that is like that's a difficult thing to do well. Like you can make something
Yeah.
that functions,
Hmm.
but when you have developers designing UIs, they're going or like even just designers designing it without having any sort of QA process, you're going to design it in a certain way that makes sense to you.
Hmm.
And that may not make sense to other people that are seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sometimes you can really tell when a user-facing piece of an application or a
Mm.
game was made by a developer opposed to a designer.
Yup,
Like,
yup.
it's just got that smell to it. You're like, but as a developer, a lot of times it totally gels with me. I'm like, oh, I get what they're trying to do. I
Mm.
understand. It's weird. I get it, but they did it for a reason. I understand. A lot of when I play 7 Days, I get a lot of that. I'm like, this is so jank, but I
Mm.
totally understand why they did it this way. But it is
Mm.
so freaking jank. Some games are just like that.
There's certain
They're
charm to it,
doing the best they
especially.
can.
Like,
There is definitely a charm to it.
mm. Um, but even with like, actually, what did you think of the combat in Veleron? Because that I think is
Um,
it.
it, it was it was okay. The thing that
Mm.
I didn't like about it was enemies, when they get low on health, they run and they
Oh,
sprint
do they?
away. Yeah, it's very frustrating.
That
There is a
once again didn't
game.
happen when I was playing.
Yeah, well, there was a game that I used to play called EverQuest,
Yep,
and
yep,
a,
yep.
a lot of enemies on there. There's a mechanic where they got below a certain health level. Not all
Mm.
of them, but a lot of them would turn and try to run away. And depending on their health level was their speed. And it seemed annoying, but like in dungeons, it's a serious problem
Mm.
because if they pick up speed and run to their allies, then their allies will attack you. So there's
Ah.
like sometimes somebody gets low on health and you have to like snare them to stop them. Anyways, that was a tangent. On Veloren,
Mm.
when an enemy gets low on health, they turn and they just haul ass away like full speed. And a lot of times it's like really hilly because it's all boxes,
Yeah.
squares, and then you get stuck on the geometry and that enemy's gone. It's very, very annoying. I've if that like that's probably my biggest gripe about it. Like I want to go out and I want to hunt, I want to get hide and craft, but
Yep.
I go and hit a rabbit and it's almost dead and it's just gone. Like
Oh,
there's
animals
no
do
way
that,
that I can get
definitely.
it.
Okay. I thought you meant hostile enemies.
Oh no, I guess I'm referring to anything that drops like craftable components.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah, okay. The animals definitely always did run. That was kind of annoying. I can agree with that. I thought you meant like you'd find a skeleton or whatever that would run away. Um
No, the skeleton is gonna take it to the end. But
wait, there's a
unfortunately, like rabbits and deer and stuff, they're like,
mm.
I understand like running away because they don't want to fight, but like full speed, like I can't catch them. I don't have a character that runs that fast.
What classes did you try out?
I tried all of them. I found the magic using class with a staff to be like the most capable by
Yep,
far.
yep, yep. Absolutely. I
Yeah,
found
the
that
bow was okay, but magic was the way.
I found the melee class like the melee classes didn't play that well. It felt like one, they had no impact, and two,
Hmm.
you were always in danger of being hit by the enemy. Like there was not really any
Hmm.
consistent way to not be damaged. Like you would expect a lot of games to have like a good parry system, a dodge system, and there is a dodge roll in the game. Um, but it always just whenever I played a melee character, my health would just melt.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with you can play a archer, you can play a mage, and you can always just be out of that range and generally survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did a little melee. I liked the two-handed attacks the best,
Yeah, yeah,
and they were okay, but most of the enemy killing was done with ranged stuff.
yep, yep, yep.
So I mostly just like explored. I didn't really do a lot of combat. The world was really fascinating, climbing to a mountain and then flying to the next city. I mean, like, yeah, I wasn't in it for the combat. I was in it for the exploration, and
The
crafting and
flight
stuff.
used to be a lot more broken before they added like a sensible flight mechanic where you actually like fall. Um,
Yeah, there's like wind and updrafts and
yeah,
stuff. Like
they've
if you, this is so cool.
they did a full blog post explaining that they're like simulating way too much with the wind when you're flying. Um,
Hmm.
because previously it was basically like you were, how would you describe it? The old system is it you just went where you wanted with the old system. So you could jump off of a mountain. Like if you went to a tall mountain, you could fly to the other side of the map if you wanted to. Which was cool, but it was a little bit ridiculous with how well you flew. Um,
Hmm.
Also, there wasn't fall damage when you flew as well, so you could jump from a super high mountain and
Uh,
just crash into the ground. That was the quickest way to get
yeah.
down. Which once again was fun, but I do like the way the flight mechanic works now.
Yeah, the flight mechanic was really fun. If you go up too high, then it's just like you just have to play it to get a feel for it. It feels more real
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
you would expect from a game like that.
Mm, mm. Last time
Yeah,
I played,
it's good.
last time I played it on stream, I think yeah, one of the devs hopped in. We jumped
Oh,
on like
nice.
their main server, and he was like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, come check out a couple of the bosses." He dragged me over to the Mind Flare boss. all of us just instantly wiped because we all were level
Wow.
1 and didn't have any stats. He was like, yeah, come fight this thing. It's like, are you gonna help? And he just left.
Let me know how it goes. Yeah, I found a dungeon. I didn't do any bosses or anything.